Welcome, listener, to another deep dive. Have you ever found yourself just agonizing over a decision? Like really pulling your hair out, trying to figure out what everyone else is going to think?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
maybe it's, a career change or a big purchase or even just like how to spend your weekend. And suddenly the weight of what other people expect just feels heavier than what you actually want.
Yeah, it's a really common feeling.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Today, we're diving into some really quite liberating insights from the art of responsible personal choice.
Right.
Our mission, really, is to explore this surprisingly direct path, almost counterintuitive, maybe.
Definitely counterintuitive for many.
A path to making decisions that truly serve you,
Yeah.
cutting through all that external noise.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is how directly this source challenges a really common assumption about decision making.
Which is,
Well, the one that says we have to factor everyone else into our choices. It argues pretty boldly, actually, that trying to please everyone is not only impossible, but ultimately foolish. Foolish. That's strong.
it's a stark reminder, isn't it? That we often end up sacrificing what we need on the altar of what we think other people want or approve of.
And here's where it gets really interesting for me. The source, it doesn't pull any punches. It states, no matter what you choose, there will always be people who disapprove.
Right. Which is kind of freeing if you think about it.
Totally. The powerful realization.
Right.
So, okay, if getting everyone on board is just a myth, then what? Well, the book boils effective decision-making down to just two, absolutely essential considerations.
A radical simplification, really.
Yeah, it forces us to look inward. So what's the first one?
Okay, so that brings us straight to the first consideration. You need to make your choice thinking only of yourself, not others.
Only yourself. Wow.
Yeah. The most important question it advises is, what do you want? And this raises a big question for you, the listener, to ponder. How often do you genuinely start there with what you want?
Rather than what you think others expect, maybe.
Yeah.
Or what might cause the least drama. Exactly. Or what causes the least friction. It's profoundly challenging because, we're kind of wired for connection, right? For belonging.
Sure.
But the source suggests that real connection actually comes from being authentic, not from twisting ourselves into knots to fit someone else's mold. That just leads to resentment often and not really knowing yourself.
That sounds so simple, doesn't it? Just choose what you want. But gosh, in practice, for a lot of us, me included sometimes, it's incredibly hard to isolate that pure desire from all the noise, the expectations.
It really is.
I know I've struggled with that, trying to balance my own stuff against what felt like, family obligations or what society expects. So how does the book suggest we actually do this self-first thing, without becoming like a total jerk?
Right. Yeah, that's a crucial distinction. And the book is clear. This isn't about being selfish in a negative way or just reckless. It's about aligning with your core truth. It suggests that genuine generosity, real contribution, it actually stems from a place of personal integrity, not from, forced sacrifice. You can't really authentically give from an empty cup or a resentful one.
I see. So know what you want first.
Yes. And once you truly know what you want, then the second crucial point kicks in.
And the second point is?
Well, once you choose what you truly desire, you must be ready to take full responsibility for that choice.
Full responsibility.
Okay, because, as the source puts it, every decision comes with a cost. And here's the kicker. If you can't pay that cost, then it wasn't the right choice to begin with.
And we're not just talking money here, are we? This cost.
Oh, not at all. The cost is multifaceted. It could be the emotional discomfort of having tough conversations. It could be temporary alienation from people who just don't get your path.
Right.
Or even losing a certain level of comfort, maybe, or predictability. The book really pushes us to do a kind of pre-mortem on our choices.
Like imagining the worst case scenario.
Exactly. Envisioning the most extreme consequences and genuinely asking yourself, can I live with that? Because the reality is you and not anyone else will bear the outcome. And if you try to please everyone else instead, the inevitable result, the source says, is that you will lose yourself.
And losing yourself, that's not just like a poetic phrase, is it? What does that actually mean day to day?
Yeah, good question. It means eroding your own values bit by bit, suppressing what you genuinely desire, and ultimately living a life that just feels out of sync. Not really you.
Which sounds pretty miserable.
It leads to deep dissatisfaction, the source argues, and regret down the line. So it's really a call for radical self-honesty where your responsibility for the outcome is just paramount.
It concludes pretty powerfully, saying that the collection of all the choices you've made, that's what forms your life, and that every single decision determines the quality of your life. The author even shares a personal test they use. When making choices, they ask, what will I lose? It could be money, relationships, whatever.
Right. Acknowledging the potential downside up front.
Yeah, and if they can accept that potential loss, they choose it without hesitation.
So maybe a final provocative thought for you, the listener, to consider. If your life story truly is the sum total of your personal choices and you alone are responsible for them, how might that shift in perspective change how you approach your next big decision?
Especially thinking about what you might lose.
Exactly. Are you truly ready to pay the price, the cost, for what you most want? Something to think about.